just all of that. And my dad decided to move from Tibet to Nepal, where I had two aunts living there. So
Yeah.
my dad thought it would be me to move so I can get proper education and
Mm-hmm.
also I could have a better. Actually, he walked the Himalayan mountain for 2 weeks in.
All right, hey guys, we're here with Rinzin. She is a very interesting personality
Yeah.
that like we barely spoken to, but we already know that this is going to be like a really interesting episode.
Hell yeah.
A bit about her before I let her take over. She's from Tibet, but then she moved to Nepal and then to India, and I'm sure there are interesting stories behind each of those moves. And I know
Yes.
you're currently
Very
in New York,
interesting.
so we've got a very diverse personality with us. You've interned with Amnesty International, and I know you consider activism a pretty big part of your life, from what I can tell. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's super cool, especially right now with like everything going on. So I think there's just so much to dive into. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a bit more about yourself? Because I'm sure I missed some stuff,
Before,
and then we
but
can
before
start.
we, but before we let Rinsen take over, guys, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button because you know we bringing you guys the best shit
Oh
every
yeah,
single day. No, like thrice a week, guys, not every single day. You guys know the drill, guys. Like and
yeah. I was
subscribe.
supposed to
Yes,
say
you
that.
were, which is why I took it over. Now we're over here, guys. Obliterate that like button. Please subscribe. Trust me, it'll mean a lot to us. It'll mean a lot to Rinzin. She literally waited an hour for my ass to get my laptop
Right?
working. All right, you guys don't know the shit that we went through to get this podcast to you guys. So it's here. Yeah, Rinzin, take it over, man. What's up?
Yeah, sure. So I can just give like a small intro. I was born in Tibet, and I
Yeah,
left when I was really small. I left for Nepal, and then lived in India for 5 years, where I studied in a boarding school run by
nice.
the government. Um, and then I moved to the U.S. and I've moved to a small suburban area that's like mainly all white and
Yeah,
Lawrence University with a degree in global studies and
damn.
yeah, and right now I'm currently interning for a organization called Hopeprint, which is like a youth refugee group in Syracuse.
Nice.
So
As
we're
you can
at right
see,
now.
guys, Rinzin has already done more than me and Salman combined. You know, all we've fucking done is make this podcast. So she's practically on her way to saving the world.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, no, I mean it's pretty cool.
yeah.
I really want to know why do you leave Tibet at such a young age? Like, how did that happen?
Yes.
Yeah, great question. So I left Tibet because so China took over Tibet in 1950, like in the 1950s,
Hmm.
and now there's a lot of militarization in Tibet and a lot of restriction of freedom of
Yeah.
speech and
Yeah.
religion, just all of that. And my dad decided to move from Tibet to Nepal, where I had two aunts living there. So
Yeah.
my dad thought it would be me to move so I can get proper education and also I could have a better. Um,
Kudos to
so
your
my
dad. He
dad
succeeded.
actually,
Kudos
huh?
to your dad. Kudos to your dad. He succeeded, man. Congrats.
Actually, he walked the Himalayan mountain for 2 weeks in.
Oh
Fuck!
my
See, I
god.
was hoping that there would be a story like this, fucking riding a camel across the desert or some shit like that. He walked the fucking Himalayas, yo.
Definitely there was like it's a dangerous path that he took, and he did it like with one of his like friend, and I was like a baby and I was on his back and he walked
Oh my
in
god.
Nepal. It's actually many Tibetans flee that way, which is really scary. Some people die along the way, some people get
Yeah.
severely sick, get mentally ill,
Yeah.
but people do it because they rather have freedom than be stuck in
That
a.
is that is insane. And this must have been, not too long ago, right? Like I'm guessing early 2000s.
No, it was so probably like 1950, 1997. I said
97.
All right. Yeah, I was like, your dad
1997.
crossed in 1950.
Yeah,
Okay, no,
Wow, Rinzin, I love
that's
the
that's
anti-aging
not too
cream.
long
I
ago.
love the anti-aging cream, man. Can you tell me, man? My mom's been looking for some shit like that.
yeah. Let me know if you want.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Oh my god, but that's when you hear stories like that, you usually think, okay, like early 1900s, or at least long
Yeah.
ago enough that like no one we know would remember them. But that's 1997's when right before we were born, which is like
Yeah, that was like a
insane.
year before I was
Yeah.
born. Fuck.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy, man.
Insane stuff.
It's weird to think about how all that that happened not so long ago. It's still fresh in people's minds.
Yeah.
Do you know if like people still flee that way?
I haven't been in touch with that side, but I'm sure people do because there's still a lack of access to a visa and stuff like that for Tibetans in China. So they have no other ways to get out of Tibet to go to
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Nepal or
wow.
so they have to like take scary routes where there's heavy militarized
Yeah.
group
Yeah.
and there's like and then like a whole snow and ice and some people
Yeah.
don't know where they're going. It's really dangerous. But yeah, I'm
Exactly.
sure people do it.
But what I'm wondering is that
Wow.
let's say you actually get to Nepal. So what's the process from there to becoming like a citizen and flying off to other places like India and shit like that when you don't have your documents, like you're not a registered Nepalese citizen or some shit like that. So
So I was really young when this happened, but
yeah.
I I don't remember having like some sort of papers or like something that says like I can live in Nepal. There's a lot of refugees living in Nepal
Mm,
and India. India basically said like when the Dalai Lama moved to the in
yeah.
moved like India, that India was basically like, hey, this is your home as well.
Yeah.
So
Same
Oh
with
damn.
Pakistan.
set up yeah of
That
Tibet.
is really
Same with
nice.
Mhm.
Pakistan. Pakistan's one of the did you fun fact, Pakistan's one of the countries which accepts the most refugees in the world.
Oh, I
So
didn't know.
yeah. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Our economy is absolutely fucking
Yeah, it's
it's
actually
absolutely fucking shattering, but we still have people coming through as like fleeing Afghanistan because we have our largest border is Afghanistan towards the west. So we have a lot of Afghanis just straight up fleeing, and especially during the Taliban era, fleeing from war, coming to our borders, and then we were just like fuck it, just come through.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
What?
The kudos.
Yeah, kudos. No. Main kudos
yeah,
to your dad.
no.
We wouldn't be fucking talking to you if you didn't fucking make it through the Himalayas. Episode number 26, courtesy
Oh
of
my
Rinz's
god.
dad.
I mean, also
Episode 26, courtesy of Rinz's dad.
kudos to the Himalayas too, right? If we're going all the way
I love
around.
this. Kudos to every Tibetan dads and moms who sacrificed their safety.
Yeah, straight up,
Yeah.
man. Straight up. Okay, wait. So let's go back to our talking points. So, how was it like in India? Because Pakistan is known to have the biggest rivalry with India and all that. So, me being a Pakistani, I'm
Say good things about our neighbors,
no. You can
please.
say no. Saman, here's the thing, right? I told you we're a real podcast where we don't censor shit, all right? You can say
Okay.
whatever you want to say, all right? Good things, bad things. I don't really give a shit. I'm genuinely curious about how what India was like when you spent 5 years there. Like from what grade to what grade did you spend your time there, and how was it like over there?
Yeah, so I was there from I was probably 7 when I got there, and then I stayed till I was 12, then I left.
Yeah.
But my experience was different. I lived in a Tibetan community that was in India. I lived in the northern area called
Yeah.
the Parmat Pradesh, and
Mm-hmm.
I basically went to a boarding school there, and so I didn't really interact with a lot of Indians.
Yeah.
But it was definitely interesting because you don't feel like you're away from home because there were so many Tibetans and
So many Tibetans, yeah.
like
Makes sense.
this is where you
Mm.
culture,
That's fair.
traditions, everything's there.
Mm.
My experience that it was difficult going to boarding school at such a young age, and my parents not being there, they were already in the US, and you like had to take care of yourself, and like, you know, all your friends, like your homemates, their parents are not with them. Their parents are in Tibet, and like some are like for 6 years old, 7 years old. They have to take care of themselves. They have to get
Man,
ready and eat, and then like, school, and it's like it's
Rinzin,
super hard to watch, you know.
Rinzin, do you know what's fucking crazy to me? Salman and I grew up in completely privileged households, and we are so fucking ungrateful for the littlest of shit. And then
I
we hear
mean,
stories like this.
yeah, he's not
And
wrong.
then we hear stories like this.
He's not
And then we hear
wrong.
stories like this, and it blows my mind. It honestly does. That is why we want to have guests like you on. That is why we want to have diverse guests on. Because we want to hear stories from all across the world, what people go through, the shit they go through, man. It fucking blows my mind, man. Continue.
I think it's really cool that you guys are like acknowledging your background and like your privilege, where it comes
Yeah.
from.
Yeah, I mean, there's no getting away from that. We were definitely really lucky,
Joe,
like as
Rinzin,
far as things
Rinzin, to put in
go.
numbers, Salman and I are part of the 0.1% of Pakistan in terms of general privilege and wealth and all that. 99.9% of the fucking country.
You make that sound. You sound like you're flexing, but the truth is, our country's just really poor. It is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. So these are actual numbers. These are actual numbers for our country. If you have been abroad, even one time in your life, if you have left the country, you're part of the 1%. If you own a house that is larger than a certain that is larger than like a certain footprint area, and you've been abroad, you're part of the 0.1%. That is how low the barrier is to enter the 0.1%.
Wow.
And we're probably even a subfraction of that, but I don't know the official numbers. But for a fact, Salman and I are part of the 0.1%, and it blows my mind.
Yeah, no, I mean it's
It
crazy
blows our
how
mind.
people live.
It's crazy.
How did you guys feel about that? Like growing up, like were you aware of that?
Honestly,
Like how
Yeah, I mean, we're all aware of it, but it's just a part of our lives,
Yeah.
you know? Like, it's pretty common for us and everyone we grew up with to have like maids and servants and all. And,
Yeah.
you know, that's the actual population, and we all know where they're coming from, but we're all like
Here's the thing, Rinzin.
just very okay
Rinzin, I'll
with
let you know.
the divide.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know. For me, I don't know if I can speak for Salman and all. For me, to feel any empathy towards somebody, I have to have gone through it. I have to have personally gone through that ordeal or through that event and all that. I genuinely I try to sympathize and I try to empathize, but I genuinely cannot imagine how fucking hard it is for people out there. I genuinely can't. Even though I might say, oh shit, it's hard.
But also,
Oh shit, it feels hard. Oh shit, that looks terrible. Motherfucker, I swear to God, I can't even imagine 1% of it. I swear to God, I straight up, until and unless I have gone through that ordeal, I cannot empathize with that much. But I totally recognize my privilege. I'm like, holy shit, this is insane. Back the fuck off, and just think about the
okay,
situation.
but also,
Yeah.
Saad, to add to that, like the people we grew up with, a lot of them were
Yeah.
the general population, and they were so far below us, and we were still so close to them, but we still like never really paid
Yeah,
attention.
that's the
Like,
point.
it's fairly common to have a maid for like a long part of your life. You know, they'll work with your family for easily a
Yeah.
decade.
Yeah,
That's
loyalty.
someone who is literally a part of your family,
Yeah.
but lives in a world that is completely different
Completely
from
different.
anything you've ever like been a part of. But you know, they're right there
Yeah.
with you this whole time, and it is actually crazy when you're in a situation like that.
wow.
Speaking of, have you guys seen the movie Parasite?
Nah, I haven't. Dude, how many times are we gonna mention that, man?
Where's it? Have you?
Have you?
I've not seen it.
Okay, that movie is the closest I've seen to a movie like actually hitting the core of like the class divide problem. Like that movie touches upon it like insanely well. So I definitely like recommend watching
Yeah.
that to everyone, because it's like a genuinely unique movie that touches on something that most people don't know exists.
And Rinzin, I'll let you
Go
know
ahead.
that people from privilege, they never look below. They're always looking above. Like I know so many people who have so much more, shit than me. So we're always constantly looking above. We never look below, and we never really recognize the ground that I'm standing on. Like, and the furniture that I have. Most people don't even have anything close to that. We don't really recognize that shit, and that's just human nature, I think, at the end of the day. But yeah,
Dude, Rinzin, I will say, you've gotten us to talk about ourselves, and that's not what I think any of us knew was going to happen coming in, and
yeah,
that was a cool experience. So, I mean, I definitely appreciate that.
yeah,
Yeah, curious
Let's,
what your experience and stuff, because we're talking about class privilege and all that. So
yeah, yeah. We are. All right, back to the talking points. Back to you, Rinzin. Let's take
okay,
a step
wait.
back.
So I think I mean I know we don't have time to talk about everything because you sent us like this massive list of all the things you've done, and me and Saad were like, whoa, that's a
and I
lot.
was
But
Yeah.
one thing that stuck out was that you said your aunt was detained once and you had to work with people to release her. If you don't
Yes.
mind talking about that, that sounds really
yeah,
intense and like actually like a really crazy story. How does that happen, and what did you do?
because you know why the American immigration system is fucked up. That's why.
It's fucked up against us too, man. Straight up, I'm brown.
I have a lot of
I'm brown. I wear a metal belt. Walk to the metal detector. Bomb, bomb, bomb. Step step to the side, sir.
Jeez.
Oh my god.
No, I could basically start a collection of like baggage tags that say your baggage has been searched by the TSA because I get those like even when I fly domestically.
yeah, it's insane. It really all happened last May when I was graduating. So I was graduating with
Yeah.
Nicole, already interviewed. I was on my way back and my aunt got detained because my school is really close to Canada, so it's 30 minutes away from Ottawa. And there's a new rule that like within 50 miles radius, like from a border, they can have a checkpoint, which I did not know.
Oh.
They had a checkpoint set up when we were coming back. And they asked me, I was in the first car I was driving and I had all my shit, and they asked me like, hey, are you a US citizen? And I'm like, yeah. And they didn't even ask me for anything, and I drove, and then behind me was my aunt.
Ooh.
And they asked her if she's a US citizen, and she cannot lie she cannot lie. She will straight up tell you like, no, I'm not. Because if you tell them yes, I am, they will just let her go. Like they're not allowed to check you,
Yeah, it didn't warrant,
But
right?
she's like, no, I'm not. Yeah, she said I'm not a US citizen. So
Okay.
they detained her. And it was so messed up because she's actually not a citizen of anywhere. She's like she was born in an area between China and India, and when like the British took over India, there was like a whole new, like no one knew whose land that was. So China and India are like constantly fighting over that land. They made it that it's no one's land, and so she doesn't have a citizenship, and that made it like 10 times harder to figure out her case. And here's
Oh my
me
god.
graduating, like, yay, life. Like
Oh
I'm
my
gonna do so
god.
many things. I'm gonna apply for jobs, yada yada yada. Like I'm gonna go travel, and like
Yeah.
the thing with mom happened, and I had to like do a whole research. Like I had to reach out to so many group of people, and like figure out what the fuck is going on. And after 7 months, like
7 months?
spent a lot. Yeah, 7 months.
Oh
Seven
my
fucking
god.
months? I thought it was like 7 hours or some shit like that. 7 months?
No,
Oh, it was
that is terrible.
yeah. And it was like there was a lot of like filing papers, trying to take ICE to court, but like kept failing, and like the third time I think we tried, ICE was just like, yeah, like you can take her, like, and
Yeah.
like the thing with like her, she doesn't have paper to go to India as well. So if they send her back to India where she was there before, India would arrest her right when she gets out of airport, because she's not from India. Like she doesn't have a paperwork to be in India.
Yeah.
So it was a whole freaking mess. And
So is she in the US
my
now?
conclusion is ICE is, yes, she's in the US. She's with
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Man, that is a crazy story.
Oh, yeah.
What the
Um,
fuck?
Yeah. And what I actually worked for like I interned for Amnesty International a semester before that, and I worked for people like trying to release them and like worked on their campaign tactics and like try to do visual arts, try to do press release for other people to get released. And like here's me, my aunt is getting like put in the detention, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like this is insane.
yeah, that is
Yeah, but we
crazy.
got
Wow.
So,
yeah.
wow. Man, I mean, like, that's, I'm sure, like, working at Amnesty International, you never thought you'd be that close to the issue.
Yeah.
But wow, life happens
Life.
sometimes, and that's insane. But
Salman,
hey, you
see,
look like you
see,
pushed
Salman,
through it
see,
a lot due to
see,
your own work,
Salman,
and that's
see,
awesome.
Salman. You and I can never feel that amount of pain ever until and unless we've actually been through that shit. I swear to fucking God.
Yeah.
I swear to God. It's a man. It blows my mind, dude. Kudos to you. And on that bombshell, guys, I think we're done with today's podcast. I'm overwhelmed. I'm done.
Oh my God. That was I don't know if in 20 minutes, but yeah, that was super cool. Thanks so much for joining
Thanks so much for
us.
joining us. Peace. Adios. Goodbye.